Hello everyone, this is Learn the Lingo. My name is Matthew and welcome back to Hebrew Basics, a series where we learn the essentials of Hebrew grammar. Today we are going to start learning some very important words called subject pronouns. These are the words I, you, he, she, we, and they. If you want to be familiar with the vocabulary I'm going to use in this video beforehand, check out this video up here. So, today we are going to learn subject pronouns. Pronouns are words that describe someone or something without having to use their name. We don't have to say, Sarah called Noah and told Noah that Sarah was going to visit Noah's house that afternoon, because we can use pronouns to describe Sarah and Noah as long as we know who we're talking about. Sarah called Noah and told him that she was going to visit his house that afternoon. Those are pronouns: him, she, and his. Of these pronouns, only one is what we call a subject pronoun, that is, she. She is the subject of the phrase, she was going. She is the one doing an action with a verb, going. Subject pronouns are used when someone is the subject of a sentence or phrase, which means that the verb in the sentence or phrase is describing their actions. We'll learn about other kinds of pronouns later, but today and in our next lesson we are going to learn the subject pronouns I, you, he, she, we, and they. In this video we'll learn the singular pronouns, which are used when the subject is one person. So that is I, singular you, he, and she. I in Hebrew is ani. I can use this to say the sentence, I am a man. Man is gever. And remember that gever can also be translated as a man, since there is no word for a in Hebrew. So we have ani, I, and gever, a man. So all we have left is the word am. But last lesson we learned that in Hebrew we don't need to use a present tense of the verb to be, such as am, are, and is. In fact, those words don't exist in Hebrew. So I am a man is just ani, I, gever, a man. Ani, gever. I am a man, with no verb in Hebrew. The word ani doesn't change whether you are male or female, so you can use ani to say ani isha, I am a woman, isha. Ani yeled, I am a boy, or ani yalda, I am a girl. However, the word for you does change depending on the gender of whoever you is. It also depends on whether you are talking to one person or many people. Today we're going to learn the masculine and feminine singular forms of you. So if you're talking to a man, you is ata. And if you're talking to a woman, you will be at. This is completely different from most words where the form with the a is the feminine form. But with the pronoun you, ata is masculine singular and at is feminine singular. So to say you are a teacher and the person you are talking to is a woman, you would take the feminine form of you, at, and the feminine form of teacher, mora. We don't need the word are in Hebrew, so we just have at mora. You are a teacher. And if the teacher you're addressing is a man, we would take the masculine forms of these words, which are ata, you, and more, teacher. Ata more. You are a teacher. Now he and she. He in Hebrew is hu. Think about how to say he is a policeman. Remember, policeman is shoter. Well, first we translate he, which is who. We have no word for is in Hebrew, and a policeman is shoter. Hu shoter. He is a policeman. The Hebrew word for she is, ironically, he. Now let's say she is a policewoman. Policewoman is shoteret. This sentence will be very similar to hu shoter. We just use the feminine counterparts of those words to get he shoteret. She is a policewoman. He shoteret. Remember that Hebrew doesn't have a neutral gender or the word it, so instead must use a masculine or feminine pronoun. Because of that, sometimes you may decide to translate who and he as it instead of he or she, if they're being used to describe inanimate objects and such, instead of people. The pronouns who and he and she, have a special function, especially in modern Hebrew, where they can act as the word is. We've been saying that Hebrew has no present tense of the verb to be, but it does sometimes use words that are usually translated as is, even though they are not verbs in Hebrew. And some of those words are who and he. How do we use these? Well, when we learned how to make phrases with adjectives, we never learned how to say something like soup is tasty. We know soup is maraq and tasty is ta'im. But if we put these words together without a word for is, we get maraq ta'im, which means tasty soup, since in Hebrew, adjectives come after nouns. So to say soup is tasty, we need a word for is in Hebrew, and the pronouns who and he are what we use for that. Maraq is a masculine singular noun, so we'll use who, the masculine singular pronoun he. So to say soup is tasty in Hebrew, we say maraq hu ta'im. Soup is tasty. Maraq hu ta'im. We can use a pronoun as is even where it's not necessary, especially if we want to add some emphasis. We know that hamaraq ta'im means the soup is tasty, but if we want, we can add hu in the middle anyway to get hamaraq hu ta'im. Both sentences mean the soup is tasty. And we can say cake is sweet like this. Cake is uga, a feminine singular noun, and the feminine singular form of matok, sweet, that will agree with that noun is matoka. But we can't just say uga matoka to mean cake is sweet, because that means sweet cake. So we have to put a pronoun meaning is for uga between the two words. That pronoun will be he, the feminine singular pronoun she, to go with uga, a feminine singular noun. So cake is sweet in Hebrew is uga hi matoka. Uga hi matoka. So those are the singular subject pronouns. Ani, I, ata and at, you masculine and feminine, hu, he, and he, she. In biblical Hebrew, the words for I and she have some variations, so let's end with those as a little bonus. Ani is not the only word for I in the Bible. Ani is more common, but in the Bible the word anochi is also used quite frequently. Ani and anochi both mean I. Anochi isn't commonly used in modern Hebrew and has an archaic sound, kind of like thou in English. In the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, the word he is almost always spelled the same as hu, with a vav instead of a yud. It still has the hirik, making the e sound, and it's pronounced as if it was spelled with a yud as usual, only the spelling is different. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, thank you so much for helping me reach over 500 subscribers. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you're enjoying the videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.